Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Progress is being made on the new downtown Spokane Sports Stadium, which will serve local schools and what could be home to Spokane's first professional soccer team. The stadium's nearing completion, but it still doesn't have a name, and school board members were not ready to approve the options in front of them tonight, as KREM 2's Kyle Simpchuk explains. Kyle?
Well, board members cited a number of issues. Some of the names and sponsors that are being recommended by the Public Facilities District and this soccer team do not align with the stadium naming criteria the board laid out earlier this year. First, a little background. Spokane Public Schools has partnered with the Public Facilities District, or PFD, which owns and operates venues like the Spokane Arena and the Podium. SPS provided funding for the new downtown sports stadium. The PFD provided the land, parking, and will manage the facility once it opens in a few months. Both sides need to agree on a stadium name and sponsor. The PFD, along with United Soccer League Spokane, have now made recommendations. They voted to call the facility the North Bank Stadium, presented by the Kalispel Tribe of Indians.
I would agree that North Bank wouldn't be my first choice.
Board members laid out a stadium naming criteria months ago. That document says the word Spokane should be included in the stadium name. It also says a sponsor cannot include industries associated with alcohol, tobacco, and gambling. The PFD is recommending Kalispel Field or Northern Quest Field.
I'm not comfortable with Northern Quest Field because Northern Quest, we know, is a casino here.
United Soccer League Spokane club owner Ryan Harnato says the team's first choice is Northern Quest Field, adding it will, quote, no doubt bring USL Spokane a higher valuation as it has a more direct link to the Kalispel's main economic engine, its resort asset. The district's naming criteria also states that if a Native American tribe is considered, the PFD must also consult with the Spokane and Colville tribes prior to even proposing the name. It appears they've only met with the Kalispel tribe.
And we understand as of tonight, the tribal consultation is still in process.
SPS and the PFD do agree that Joe Albi's legacy will live on at the new facility. There are plans to name a plaza and the adjacent road after him. There's also plans to place Albi's statue on site as well. Now, the stadium is on track to open this fall. It's unclear when board members will approve a name and sponsor. Mark.
Kyle, thank you very much. In other news this evening, multiple school districts in eastern Washington were shut down today after a series of bomb threats. The threats were emailed to superintendents in the Davenport, Elmira, Wilbur, and East Valley school districts. The emails warned of bombs being hidden in schools. So, out of abundance of caution, the Davenport, ACH, and Wilbur districts were all closed. All students were evacuated and sent home for the day. Meanwhile, neighboring schools were put under secure and teach protocols. Bomb-sniffing dogs were used to clear the schools throughout the day. At this hour, officials say it appears that none of the threats were credible. And tonight we are following up on the tragic death at the Galena mine in Wallace, Idaho, and how the Silver Valley is reacting to the accident. Last night, Galena mine officials confirmed one of its underground miners died when falling ground struck them. Today, operations at the mine have been put on hold while the Mine Safety and Health Administration investigate the incident. The miner is not being named at this time. We spoke with a Wallace resident who grew up there and her family worked in the mines. She says whenever an accident happens, several questions cross her mind.
You wonder who it is, for one. You don't know if it's your family, friends, if you've known the person, if you've seen them, what they need from you. How to even react to the guys that are friends of theirs.
The general manager says the operations could resume as early as tomorrow as long as the investigation is complete. We will continue to follow this story as it develops. Well, court adjourned after just 2 hours of testimony today in the Lori Vallow trial. Prosecutors called for an early end because of a death in the lead prosecutor's family. Before they adjourned, the detective that testified yesterday was asked to clarify some of what he said on the stand earlier. The court then listened to a recording of a phone call between Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell that happened on June 9th of 2020, that same day that law enforcement was searching Daybell's property. Court resumes tomorrow. All right, let's talk weather now. Finally, some sunshine after days of unpredictable spring weather. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy the Good to find out what's in store for the rest of the week. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, it's a little bit of a warm-up, and notice as we get into Friday night, a little bit of a break. But let's bring it back to now. What we do have is a trough sitting overhead, and that atmospheric trough is playing a big role in some of those scattered showers and the cooler temperatures that we experienced today. And it doesn't really go anywhere, so that means we likely have a very similar day in store Thursday across much of the inland Northwest, which is tomorrow, by the way. We'll see those showers kind of dissipate, and then by the time we get into the day tomorrow, we wind up with a clear or mostly clear start to the day, very similar to what we saw today. Clouds build, so do those scattered showers through the afternoon. So tomorrow and today look almost identical. I think we just wind up squeezing a little more heat out of the day tomorrow. And guess what? Friday, similar once again. It's more of the same the next 2 days. Temperatures slightly warmer each of those, and then by Saturday, we're talking a huge warm-up as temperatures climb back up near 60 here in Spokane.
Looking forward to that. Jeremy, thank you very much. And emergency declarations in place in Stevens County for severe weather and for flooding. Creeks that started as small trickles now look like rivers as rainwater and runoff flow through the region. Fire District 2 volunteers are keeping an eye on Hunter Creek, which is coming close to flooding homes, businesses, and even the fire station.
So with the colder temperatures overnight, the water levels did not come up. They went down just a little bit, but we're still really close to flood stage.
Volunteers are monitoring things for now and preparing sandbags if necessary. Fortunately, the forecast looks like they'll escape a more serious situation. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Several teens are in custody tonight after a stabbing that we covered last night. Now the victim, Jeremy Root, is speaking out. He says nothing in particular sparked the altercation on the bridge last night, and luckily he walked away from the attack. But he says teen attacks are getting more and more violent.
I dealt with the 5 people armed with knives by getting stabbed by each of them individually. Nobody has any discretion anymore or honor, I guess would be a good word. Like, they're just maliciously doing dumb and getting caught up for it too.
Spokane police arrested 2 16-year-olds and a 14-year-old for first-degree assault and robbery. Police say the investigation is ongoing and additional arrests and charges are possible. The Washington State House passed a bill to recriminalize the possession of hard drugs. The measure would result in gross misdemeanor charges for someone arrested for drug possession. If an offender successfully completes drug addiction treatment, then the charge will be dropped. The move comes as recent changes to state law now require police to offer treatment at least 2 times before arresting someone for using drugs in public. Classes in the Keller School District will be canceled for a second day in a row tomorrow. The district canceled school early this morning, citing a water outage. In a Facebook post, Keller also canceled today's parent-teacher conferences as well. Shortly after, the district put out a call out canceling school tomorrow due to a planned power outage in the area. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word NIGHT to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. Now to some national news. More than 1,000 people were evacuated in parts of Richmond, Indiana because of an industrial fire that's been burning since yesterday. The site of the fire is a former factory and the flames have been burning through piles of old plastic that were stored there. The fire chief said today it's burned about 14 acres so far and they are still working to contain it. Tonight, the EPA is investigating whether asbestos and other chemicals may have left the site in all that smoke. A 20-year-old college student in Minneapolis behind bars tonight after a school custodian found boxes of ammunition outside one of the dorms. After his discovery, police searched the room of Waylon Kurtz, whose name was found on packaging near the ammunition. Inside his dorm room, they say they found several ammunition magazines, knives, and a hand-drawn map of the campus recreation center. His cell phone also revealed text messages to a co-conspirator with detailed areas of campus they plan to target with guns and explosives. Kurtz is charged with making threats. Investigators say they believe that custodian prevented a mass casualty attack. Well, a wild sight out of Russia tonight. An entire region now covered in ash. One of the country's most active volcanoes erupted this week, shooting clouds of ash into the sky and smothering the surrounding villages. The eruption happened over the course of 6 hours. Officials say the ash cloud has covered more than 40,000 square miles. As of now, there are no reports of casualties, but the volcano is expected to erupt for another 15 hours.